Hello, and welcome back to another video. If you're looking for recommendations on what manhwa to read, then here are some that I've read recently that might be of interest to you. Manhwa titles are timestamped in the video for your convenience. Our first manhwa for today is Relife Player, a regression manhwa that I've currently read up to chapter 65 on. Its main character is No Una, an individual whose sole existence in life is to kill monsters. He even earned the moniker Undead as he endlessly pushed forward in the pursuit of killing monsters, even when he himself was on the brink of death. At one point though, the monsters proved to be too much, and as he slowly withers away, he is sent back to the past by his companion instead. Now that Una has this second chance, he uses his knowledge from his first life to prevent his own tragedies that would soon occur in this new one, while preparing to face the impending threats that will still most likely come. The story is 7 out of 10. From his first life to the starting point of his second life, Una's drive to kill monsters is due to losing his family in his first life. To prevent this tragedy, he secretly prepares and hopes that it's not all for naught. After its introduction arc, the story barrels down a kid's being prepped for the future war kind of vibe, as Una enlists the help of his childhood friends, sister, and adults he can persuade for the chaos ahead. The characters are 8 out of 10. While Yuna's first life does have some characters that I'm interested in when they will show themselves, the fresh set of characters post-regression offer both a sense of comfort but also purpose. Instead of revenge, of protection instead. They are quite a playful bunch too, but they must come to grips with the reality as well. The art is 7 out of 10. From its many action sequences, it has a somewhat weird vibe of doom and terror that is invoked by Yuna's attitude and knowledge of the future, but also those of childlike wonder as the party surrounding Yuna slowly familiarize themselves with the skills required to take on the dangers of their own world. So if you're looking for a regression manhwa centered on a world in peril and how the main character may or may not be able to affect the events of his first life, then Relife Player should reserve a spot on your reading list. This next manhwa is the Genius Medicinal Mage, a reincarnation manhwa that I've currently read up to chapter 48 on. The protagonist of this story is Renok, a sickly individual who has amazing talents and magic in a futuristic fantasy world. The issue is that Renok is actually a character that he created and reincarnated into from a single-player game that he was playing in his previous life. Leveraging systems that allowed him to trade negatives for more positives, he stacked more and more to provide Renok with more talent and magic, but there comes detriments with that. The result is now that he has to live with those consequences, literally. First things first though, he has to find a way to survive since he gave himself such detriments in the first place. The story is 7 out of 10. Renok's drive to survive is impressive considering he finds himself in a very strange and precarious situation. What things can he do to survive, maybe even thrive in this world before trying to get answers to his own situation? The world, though, doesn't stop and envelops him in the turmoil and events going on. The characters are also 7 out of 10. Considering his character's state, there is pretty much no one he can truly rely on, and he looks to see if any suitable work for him is available. Over time, he gets a sense of those he can quote-unquote trust and those he has to be wary of. Maybe things are looking up from here. The art is 8 out of 10. From its great magic action sequences to its more guild-style chats and conversations, this manhwa offers a more action, dialogue loop that you see in a lot of single-player RPG games, and it very much echoes Renok's journey. The Genius Medicinal Mage is a manhwa for those that are looking for a futuristic fantasy setting that has the main character do everything possible to survive in this familiar yet unknown world that he has now stepped into. I hope you enjoy it if this sounds intriguing to you. Our next manhwa is You're My Flame, a reincarnation manhwa that I've currently read up to chapter 65 on. Chersinia is the main character of this story. Originally destined to be quite villainous, our Chersinia instead is a reincarnated person who knows of the original plot and took over Chersinia's body years before the events of the original story. She resolves herself to change the events of said story and tries to make ends meet, even somehow adopting a slave boy and naming him Ben to accompany her. As these two live out their lives, will the fate of the original story come to get them? Is the old Chersinia still in there somewhere? And can Chersinia truly find happiness? The story is 7 out of 10. You're My Flame provides an interesting backdrop to a story about personal struggle, romance, and perseverance. Justinia having to face the realities of her powers and what they could bring, both good and bad, is something she will have to face at one point. Ben feels like an anchor to her in some ways, as she has nothing else to hold on to. But it clearly doesn't last long, right? The characters are 8 out of 10. Once introduced, Ben of course becomes a central character to the whole story, and this manhwa mainly focuses on their relationship, and how it might be possible for them to be together. It will most likely be a grueling road, but will they be able to make it? The art is 8 out of 10. The showcase of emotions for both Justinia and Ben is great. It provides a context to when the both of them are happy, but it also allows for a more solemn and sad attitude when the situation calls for it. It truly enhances both of their journeys. So if you're looking for a reincarnation manhwa that has our main character struggle to live freely in the way that she wants, but still look for the joys in life, with an art style that showcases how she feels in the moment, then You're My Flame is one for you. My Inventory is Abnormal is the title of our next manhwa. It's a modern manhwa that I've currently read up to chapter 33 on. The focus of this story is on Shin Yu-jun, a player of the game War of the Gods. War of the Gods is known for its very high difficulty and low player count due to its difficulty, but Yu-jun is one of the few who enjoy it for what it is. An avid spender in the game, he was able to support himself financially in real life so that he can spend as much as he wanted in the game with no worries. One day though, it was revealed that a god was the administrator of the game and that it was now closing, with a secondary consequence in that humanity would be transported into the game. Now Yu-jun has to navigate this new landscape, but he has a significant advantage due to him being the top spender and all of his pay-to-win items are still there. What's in store for him now? The potential is 8 out of 10. With a chaotic but familiar new world, Yu-jun is sent into the world years later compared to everyone else. Why is this? Clearly Yu-jun has some privileges, but he has to start quite later than others. Given his items and knowledge of the game though, he will clearly get stronger quickly, but what will be in store for him? Are his friends somewhere out there? What is the purpose of bringing humanity into War of the Gods? The art is 7 out of 10. With an amusing and playful art style in the beginning, there hasn't been a crazy amount of serious action scenes yet. A lot of the attention has been on the growth of Yu-jun and his journey to become most likely the most powerful in this world, similar to his status when it was a game. So if you're looking for a manhwa title that utilizes game functions to heavily benefit the main character, considering he spent an egregious amount of money, but have him grow to be overpowered instead of being immediately overpowered, almost echoing similar story beats and pacing to The Curious Case of Chronicle from my previous videos, then give My Inventory is Abnormal a try. Welcome to the highlight portion of today's video as we look at how one of the manhwas mentioned in the previous video is doing as I've continued reading it. Slight spoiler warning as we will be discussing the events in the manhwa since my previous opinion. Today's highlight is The Divine Surgeon, which I've now read up to chapter 121 on. Info card in description will have links to my original opinion. Hwabu of course is our main character, and he's been busy trying to simply save lives. The affiliations and ideals do not matter. A patient is a patient. As I previously covered, Hwabu is living in the time period of the Romance of the Three Kingdoms. He's met Cao Cao, and he himself has been trying to come to terms with how his actions may affect the course of history. The start of the romance is of course the Yellow Turban Rebellion, which fanned chaos across the lands and engulfed the region into a massive war. As a doctor, Hwabu doesn't see the immediate realities, but instead the after effects of such decisions and actions. He did provide some preventative measures that caused the small-scale Yellow Turban force to instead not join the Yellow Turbans, but instead repel them and join Hwabu's cause to save as many people as possible. Clearly, Hwabu's journey is a long one and he has more effect on the world than he might think with his abilities. My previous scores for this manhwa were 8 out of 10 for story and art and 7 out of 10 for characters. As for its story, it stays the same at 8 out of 10 as it continues to be a treat for Romance of the Three Kingdom fans as the characters show up in Hwabu's field of view while also offering some political and more general stories when it's not focusing on Hwabu's efforts. The art goes up to 9 out of 10 as the scale of the battles that ensue around Hwabu truly show the chaos that the lands are going through. The battles, patience, disease, and forces that are at play are serious and don't seem to let up. Even Hwabu's own dilemma is a touch-and-go moment. As for its characters, it goes up to 8 out of 10 as other characters from the famous novel meet Hwabu and provide him some context to the situation at large, and the ones that are not, like Hwabu's disciples, are a caring bunch that help him accomplish his overall mission and goal. As a general fan of Romance of the Three Kingdoms, my continued reading of The Divine Surgeon has been a pleasant one. While the art style is different compared to other renditions of the famous characters, it still offers its unique spin on things. Hopefully Hwabu doesn't have to get swept up even more, but knowing him, he will willingly jump into the next fire as soon as he can sense it. Would you agree, or would you not? Write down in the comment section down below your thoughts on The Divine Surgeon. Thanks so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. Write in the comment section down below what manhwa you've been reading, and I might just take a look. Till next time though, have a good read.